right, we all know about warranty nightmares. Automotive Warranty Network Incorporated. If your warranty process still involves sticky notes, tribal knowledge, and late night claims rejections, you're leaving money on the table. Automotive Warranty Network Incorporated brings clarity, compliance, and cash flow to your warranty game. They speak fluent OEM, and they've got your back. Hey, I want to encourage you to take a visit over to our partner, Target Automotive, at target.com. That is great until you're drowning in it. Target turns that chaos into clarity with dashboards that actually make sense. Fixed ops leaders finally get what they need: real-time, drill-down insights without the spreadsheet migraines. It's not just business intelligence, it's Target. Welcome, Fixed Ops Mastermind. We have moved to Thursdays. As you can see, people are still getting used to that. I know some people tried to log in on Tuesday night, and I got messages whether we had moved from Tuesdays. So no matter how much stuff you put out there or how many emails you send, the message doesn't always get through to everybody. So we are here on Thursdays. The room will start to fill up more as people realize where we went. And this week, I thought there's so much AI stuff that's going on and being built by great people like McKenna, who are building really cool tools. But there's also a lot of stuff that can be used in the dealership that doesn't cost any money for the dealership to use, that they can use, number one, securely, because I see a lot of people posting and things, telling dealers how to build things, and then telling them to drop in lists out of their DMS and all this other stuff. And man, oh man, are they asking for some pain down the line when you're dropping all that personal information into an open LLM. So what we're going to work with here today is Notebook LLM, but we're gonna do this in a way where the files that we drop in. Number one, I'm going to tell you that whatever file you do drop in, that you get rid of any that you get rid of any personal information that's in there. If you're gonna use this as the manager and you want to use it to assess some numbers in the department and things, don't include customer information. Don't include your employee information. I don't know how you say this word, but anonymatize all of that. Make it all anonymous. The machine and everybody at large doesn't need to know whose numbers those are. You just need to know what the numbers mean. So, but for this, we're going to create a service advisor assistant that can help both your current service advisors, but also your advisors in general, as you get a lot of advisors out there who have not been in the business very long, or at your particular desk very long. And so you have an advisor, he's been with you for 8 or 9 weeks, obviously doesn't know all the ins and outs of everything, right? And so they have a customer that wants to know if their headlight bulb that's blown out in their 2025 Bronco, but it has 37,000 miles, so it's outside of factory warranty, if they would qualify for goodwill. The advisor has no idea. They've never worked at a Ford store. Maybe 9 weeks ago, they were working at a Starbucks and they were great at customer service, so you brought them into the dealership. So they don't even understand what goodwill is yet. So vehicles a few months or 1,000 miles out of warranty, they're a loyal customer, been a customer for 7 years. Their family has 9 cars. They've purchased 9 cars rather over the years with that dealership, and the advisor has no idea what the right answer is. So they take a look around because they want to give the customer an answer. Service manager's on the phone. The senior advisor is with another customer. So the advisor does what every service advisor does, and they either guess, they stall, or they just say, no, you're out of warranty. And in that 30-second decision, maybe you lost a customer, probably didn't lose a customer that's that loyal, but you probably lost the survey that might be coming. You've certainly lost a goodwill opportunity with that customer. And more importantly, you prove to the advisor that when they need an answer, the answer is not going to be there, so they just have to make something up. And that's the problem that we want to try and fix. Institutional knowledge in your fixed ops department doesn't scale. It's living inside the heads of your veteran advisors, veteran leaders, and it lives in binders that nobody updates. It's living in email chains that went out about a policy change in 2019 that this advisor doesn't see and nobody else has ever looked at again since the day it went out. And so it shows up with inconsistent customer experiences, bad CSI hits, maybe worse, a warranty denial because an advisor didn't know about a certain approval they should have gotten. And advisors that either never feel ready or become afraid to make a decision because they made that decision, the customer sent in a bad survey, and they get in trouble for it, right? Even though there was no way for them to do the right thing at the time. So with Notebook LLM, you could start to fix some of this. And so I'm going to show you here for anybody who has never used it. Super simple to build this. Let me screen share and put this up on my screen here. I'm going to try something different with my screen share here too, folks. I'm going to try and do this so I remain on the screen so you don't have to just look at a blank screen the whole time. Okay. Now, all right, we all know about warranty nightmares. Automotive Warranty Network Incorporated. If your warranty process still involves sticky notes, tribal knowledge, and late-night claims rejections, you're leaving money on the table. Automotive Warranty Network Incorporated brings clarity, compliance, and cash flow to your warranty game. They speak fluent OEM, and they've got your back. Hey, I want to encourage you to take a visit over to our partner, Target Automotive, at target.com. That is great until you're drowning in it. Target turns that chaos into clarity with dashboards that actually make sense. Fixed ops leaders finally get what they need: real-time, drill-down insights without the spreadsheet migraines. It's not just business intelligence, it's Target. Oh, because I can't stand the way Zoom does screen share. Can you actually see the Notebook LLM? It says Service Advisor Assistant up the top.
Yes.
Anyone? Yes? Okay, thanks. All right, so Service Advisor Assistant. So if you were starting from scratch, you would click the black Create Notebook and start from there. So in Sources, I went and I just used Claude and created 10 fictitious documents for the Summit Automotive Group. And it has, this is the reference manual. They made up a loaner policy, menu pricing standards. What else do we have in here that it made up? All kinds of stuff. Warranty, things, walk around procedure. So you get the point. You have all these in the store that you could put into this, right? So these, if you wanted it to take up a little less space so that you could put more in and it would make it a little easier for it to read instead of that docx format, HTML or a markdown file, both work well with the LLMs in how they read it and how quickly and easily they can access that info. So the other, I'll go back to addressing security and hallucinations. When you're using this tool in this way, you don't get hallucinations because the only thing it is looking at is the documents you put in there. It's not going outside into the greater LLM world. It is only looking at your documents. So it's not going to give you back. If somebody asks a question that's not in one of those documents, it's not going to make something up and put it back in there. It's only going to pull from those documents. So, so this is our service advisor assistant. It gave me a whole outline of what it actually does by what the documents were, and you can use this both again as a leader depending on what you put it in there. If I didn't say this, by the way, this is Notebook LLM is a Google product. There is a paid version of it. You can see it says Pro up there, but this, what I'm doing here, is all on a free plan. You don't need any paid plan to be able to do this. Upload the documents, your policy manuals, special order procedures, warranty guides, training materials, TSBs. Take all of those files, drop them in there, and you're going to get a chat interface that's built on top of those documents that your advisors or you can just ask a simple question, and it's going to give you back the answer and tell you where it came from, what document it came from. It's not going to make things up. It's not going to be pulling stuff off the internet or off another LLM information. It's only going to answer from what you've given it. So if you're an advisor and you get in that situation, right? So we are the advisor and we have that exact situation. So 2025 Bronco, 36,000 miles, 3 months out of warranty, in goodwill, a headlight. Amazing typing skills is what you're thinking right now. I know that. That was a lot of miles. I get an extra 0 in there. And I don't actually know if it has the right information to be able to answer this, but there it is. You can potentially goodwill the headlight if the policy allows goodwill adjustments for repairs fall outside of warranty, and the retention value justifies the dealer's contribution, right? So it has some other things in here. And this is this is talking about not necessarily goodwilling through Ford, but also for what the dealer's policy is. So this did put a goodwill policy in here, and it tells the advisor he has authority up to $250. So if it's less than that to put the headlight in the car, he doesn't need to ask somebody. Could have gotten the answer right from here, and been able to actually give that customer the answer, right?
Hey, David.
Yes.
David, is this a dialogue or is this a monologue? I just want to have respect for your forum.
This is absolutely a dialogue. You are in the show here. So ask questions, discuss. If you've got something else beside this you want to discuss, we are an open book here.
You know, the last thing I am is a plugger, but everything you're talking about makes a ton of sense. I want everybody to know I was a car dealer, former car dealer principal for 25 years. And I went to work for the company that I'm with right now because of their extremely high tech and their care for fixed ops. Yeah, it's a finance and insurance company. We're a finance provider, but when they showed me Presidium Lifetime Repair Care, which means every customer that comes into that service department and pays one time, they never will pay again, no matter how many miles, no matter how many years they keep it, ever again. And this includes and goes as deep as brakes, pads, rotors, battery, and then everything else above that, less maintenance. So when you're talking about the goodwill of the dealer and after the warranty is done, I just want you to know that, you know, when the dealer talks about his goodwill, Well, with this product, which again, this is what made my decision to come to work for this company after all these years and jump onto that side. I just thought it was such a revolutionary program for a solution for retention, loyalty, CSI, and profitability. And you know what it cost the dealer? Zero. No upfront, no monthly, no setup, nothing. We fully train them. To your point, when the advisors don't know what to do or how to do it, we train them. We ongoingly train them. We create videos for their dealership to send to their entire database. So if you're a mastermind, which it sounds like you are, and you're talking about those times where they're out of warranty, how to get the goodwill, just wanted to put it out there to the small team we're talking to. With us, when they pay once, they never pay again for the life.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Needed to tell you that if you guys are interested, or if David, you're interested in talking off screen, or any of your people are about this, we can go into much more detail. And again, I'm not selling anything because there's no cost. It's more of an offering. And I think it's great for fixed ops and people like yourselves to know about. That's it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Right. And so we'll switch what the advisor's looking to find out now, right? So we talked about this advisor being new at what they're doing. And so they get a report back from the technician that the tech is saying they need brakes, but they don't know whether they should actually be telling the customer. And we'll make the assumption on all of these that the same factors happened on this, that manager's not available, lead advisor's not around. So they're stuck there at the desk by themselves, that they have to make a decision. So what brake pad thickness do we recommend replacing front brakes? Going to go back through and search those documents that it put in there. So recommended service them when the pad thickness reaches 4 millimeters. If the front pad thickness drops to 2 or below, service is required. So that's not the greatest answer. It's probably, I would guess that their yellow is probably 3 and 4 millimeters. So depends on how you read that, but either way, the information is there. And if they got that back from the advisor, from the technician, it was probably on a multi-point, so it probably did have it marked in the yellow. And this is just confirming that that from 4 and down is where we start to recommend that they get done. But at 2 or below is where the service says required. Obviously, it's customer's choice. They're never required to do a repair on the vehicle. They should do a repair, but they're not required. They don't have to do those repairs. So I'm gonna kill my stop share here, because you guys get the idea of doing this. And oh, hey Dwayne, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
Couldn't be better, thanks. And so we can take the discussion wherever you want it to go now. But just wanted to put that out there for anyone who's not using something like that. It's a simple thing, even outside the dealership, using it for even within your company to put policies and things in there. Maybe frequent questions that come up from customers for your reps to be able to use to answer for your customers and things. Just a really useful tool. There's a whole, if you go to Notebook LLM, there's also a whole bunch of fun other things that you can do. You can take a document and it'll read it back to you in like a podcast style. It doesn't read the document word for word. It puts it into, it's literally a man and a woman's AI voice who sound very real, and they discuss the document that was there as if it was a podcast, kind kind of fun
Can it do it with a Boston accent, though? That's the question.
Yeah, it can. I haven't heard an AI with a good Boston accent, so
Well, you made a good point about that stuff, which is, when we have any of the team members using one of the public GPTs, regardless of which one it is, you can get some bad information in it. So by containing it all to only the information that you're uploading into it, that controls that hallucination problem that we have.
yeah, that's very useful, and so that's a good point, Dwayne, because the reason I started thinking about this was because I was at a dealership where they were using ChatGPT to have the technicians have it help the technicians write their stories, specifically the warranty stories. And so they had one GPT that they were all working off of. So they had some warranty and policy stuff in there. They had examples of, a few hundred past stories and things, and some rules in there, but you're still using ChatGPT. You're still exposing yourself there and taking a chance that it does come up with some kind of weird hallucination that gets into a warranty story and gets by they have in-house warranty admin, but it gets by that warranty admin and gets kicked on the other side. So
good.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's that was the quick lowdown on using Notebook LLM. And again, it's new Thursdays here, so everybody's still finding their way to our Thursday meeting. As you can see,
But we have the former governor of Minnesota with us. That's great.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura is here, so not sure what he's doing in automotive, but we'll figure that out as we move.
You know, make a name for myself in automotive.
He body slams any of the advisors that don't write their stories correctly.
There you go.
I like it. All right, so we'll open this discussion up. Anybody that has topics that they wish to discuss or talk around, make up.
Well, I'm curious. I'd like to ask, as you know, Dave, we're dipping our toes in the AI world as much as we can. I want to say as much as we can, carefully, because we understand the good and the bad that can happen with that. So I'm just curious, if anybody here is using anything that they raise their hand and say, we're using this, we like it for this reason, and see what other feedback I can get. So.
Well, I'll open the floor up for that talk, because there's two people that are sitting here that both have solutions that use some AI in them.
Yeah.
So if McKenna,
I kind of know that guy over there, that Kyle guy. I think we were in jail together one time.
And
I'm still I don't doubt that at all.
On him.
Dwayne, what are you like? Okay, so I will say, when you're going to market about any sort of AI solutions, there's definitely a hierarchy between how AI is utilized. For a lot of people, it's like there's a decision tree that will automate certain activities versus like true generative agentic AI. But I think it really depends on like, what are you looking to solve? I think if you get enough inbound demand, but you don't have people answering the phones, there are solutions. If you can't get enough inbound and you want to attack outbound, there are solutions. If you need to automate like warranty work or things like that, Darren, I think, is your guy, or War Cloud is a great solution in the space. But I guess I would want to know more about
I was
like,
trying to find out from an operational standpoint if there's anybody here operating, a dealership or in what they were using, what they liked, what they didn't like. We are using it more today, kind of like Dave talked about, is we are extracting as much of our own data as we can, putting it in a data lake to find out information about our customer base and how that works, and finding people who are in market and doing, a lot of different things. And but that has nothing to do with integrating with the outside world. And
yeah,
so, yes, you know, answering the phones is generally an issue at any dealership. Um, we operate at both ends of the spectrum. We have a Honda store, and then we've got another location that's got Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, Rover, and Bentley. I'm not a fan of automated answering systems. A lot of big groups have them. Some of them work well. Some of them are as dead end as you can get, 3 transfers and then get the voicemail to the guy who's out until next week, that kind of stuff that I've had. So I'm just trying to find out what people are using, what they like, because, it's good to put this in a list and start as we start finding out what are the problems we need to solve. How do we make it more efficient for our customers
hmm
and our team, really what it is. And, again, I think we have a toe dipped in it, but I know that, or I believe that the first thing you have to be able to do is any technology is, here's the process we want to use. Here's the problem we want to solve. Here's how we're doing it today. And see if we can get that automated where it solves the process. And then we can work on if it's not solving it in the most efficient manner, first of all, for our customer, how do we change that? So that's kind of what I'm looking for is what solutions. And I see it's hard to see. I can't see the logo behind your guys' heads, but now I see it. Does it say Spark? There we go.
Spark, yeah.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I want to be a big help to Dwayne if I can. Dwayne, like I told you, I've been in and around the business for 30 years, probably like yourself. I've had a lot of people work for me in the Chicago area that have really won. And again, if this does get into what McKenna, Kyle, or Jess do, then I'd stop. But I have a guy, AI is going to come, it's going to turn into everything else that we've dealt with. The CRMs, what one's better, VIN solutions or the auto alert, mastermind. Now you're starting to get confused as a dealer, like, what are we doing and what's going on out there and where and how do we use it? What does it coincide with? What does it align with? Where is it parallel? So I've got the answers for you, me enough to be dangerous and really screw things up. But if you need to talk to me or you want to, unless again, McKenna and Jess, is that what you guys do or no? What is Spark?
Yeah, so similar to what Dwayne expressed, I like maybe it's a bad opinion, but I don't necessarily believe in an AI voice that answers inbound calls and routes those. I think it has a place for sure, especially if there's like too much inbound demand and the vast majority of inbound calls are simple oil change appointments, things like that. But what we do is we try to get engagement back into the dealership. So we mine your dead database of customers, send them text message based offers. It converts at twice the rate of a human being making cold calls. It's purely outbound. And then we re-engage those leads. And what we're building right now, I think, is actually
Are you
kind of
talking on the sales side or the service side or both?
service side only. We only play in fixed ops. We do not do anything with sales. But what we're building right now is essentially an upsell agent that will query the recommended services for a vehicle at their mileage compared to what they've had done historically and upsell them and allow them to essentially opt in and say, yes, I'm experiencing these symptoms. And then add those services onto an appointment record so that hopefully, if your ideal capacity is 60 appointments a day and you're currently at 35, well, let's get you to not 60, 49.95 oil changes, but 45 oil change, tire rotation, and fuel injection services. So you can
Okay.
make your mark without needing to essentially have that, let's say 80 to 90% customer retention. You can hit your mark with, maybe 50% customer retention because the dollar value is higher.
I'm the Tango, MK. Ready? Here it
Yeah,
comes.
I'm ready.
All right. So if if answering bots are failing,
Mm-hmm.
in my experience, it's because the people that are operating it are not training it properly, giving it the education that it needs to be able to be successful. So I have plenty of stores that have an AI champion that have taken over this bot, me included, with several different companies that have been very, very successful, regardless of whether it's luxury or it's Mitsubishi. So you're right. There's a place for it, but it's not a set it and forget it solution, because again, that's where you end up getting run around in circles. I think it needs to be 100% uncaged to be able to have a conversation and be able to do what it needs to do. That said, improperly run or just a set it and forget it solution is not the answer to it. So I agree with you that there isn't a place, if you're not willing to train it and work with it like you would with regular people and have it have its own process. That said, though, when it comes to presenting what is due for the vehicle or what needs to be done for the vehicle or anything to that extent, I still believe that the human touch is what needs to be done, because the value needs to be put there, the understanding, being able to answer the questions, and building the retention needs to be there. But to your point, I think what you're doing and building so that people can fill their schedules is very important, because we have so many people that are saying, well, I'd like to, this is what we book for every day. And then you look at their calendar and it's at 60% fill rate. So you're asking me to do something that you can't get to.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you, Kyle. Like, I think it should be a human touch. Our upsell agent is less about like replacing the work of service advisors and more about priming customers to know why a service advisor is going to offer them additional services. But to go back to like voice AI, the reason that I say I like fundamentally don't believe in it is not because I don't think it works. I think it works perfectly fine. The problem that we're trying to solve is not like, let's schedule more appointments with fewer resources, but it's like dealers only own 29% of the market share today. How can we re-engage an inactive customer base of people who purchase from you, who you have more access to information to than any competitor in the space, and just drive off the lot, never to be seen again? So our approach was not like necessarily, and there's no right or wrong here, so like just please take this with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking at, how effective is it at re-engaging customers who are not coming to our website, who we don't appear in the search results for? Is it better to have a bot answer when they call in, or have a bot text them outbound and try to re-engage them? And what we've found is just that using Spark AI, actually Spark Serve AI, I apologize, misspeaking there for legal reasons. But using Spark Serve AI, we've been able to increase demand on all channels. Like even if they don't end up scheduling with our like text agent, they end up coming in as a walk-in on the web or by calling in. It's just simple top of funnel marketing that people do in sales all the time, but that dealers historically have not really spent a lot of money on for reasons unknown. So I don't know. I think there's so much power in AI, both as voice and as text and as out of the box analytics, coaching service advisors on how to upsell and how to communicate the downside of saying no, or the opportunity cost of saying no to additional services. I think we're just scratching the surface right now, but it's been a really
Do you find on like the educating portion, as far as the advisors and things of that nature, that you're looking at basically looking at what it says up front and then training it from there on how you would do it from experience, or like how I would do it when I was writing, or Dave, or whatever?
Not so much on the like what is the language and approach you use, but more on like what is coming from our customer. So we essentially have built out a number of bespoke, like customer specific agents that we arm with tools that they can then deploy, which makes it kind of easy to scale. I would say custom use cases across different customers depending on the brand. Like Genesis uses the verbiage guests and experience instead of customer and appointment. Those are the little intricacies that matter to our customers. So we try to use their verbiage, their recommendations, their like service training guides as much as possible. I don't know.
Wayne, did we answer any of that?
We just went on a tangent, Kyle.
Yeah,
We got
no,
lost
well,
in
it's well, you know, it's really, Kyle, I probably need to have this conversation more with people who are sitting in the seats of the dealerships, you know, like we do, to find out, you know, what they like. You know, and I think I'm certainly not a subject matter expert, but I know that none of this is set it and forget it. None of that works in that regard. And you know, to the point where Dave was, you know, showing before, where if you're ingesting your own data and getting the information back from your own data, then there's no outside influence to that. But understanding how to ask for that data, you know, is an important part of that. But, you know, where I'm really kind of looking for it is, you know, how do you make it easy for somebody to call in and schedule a service appointment at 11 o'clock at night? You know, they can do it on our website and that's fine, but some people would rather do it by call. And, you know, one of the things that I think has made us relatively successful over the years is we want to be able to let the customer engage with us how they want. Is that by
However they
phone?
want.
Is that all on the web? Is that what we want to
Mhm.
do? When you want to buy a car, you want to do it all online, you know, through a digital retail tool, which happens very seldomly, you know, but then we can execute everything, ship cars, do everything, do Federal Express where you want. You know, I think most people are a mix of that. They want to certainly be able to do research online. You know, we've sold enough cars. You know, customer comes in, makes a visit, they call back, everybody agrees to a deal. Now, what do we do to minimize their time in store? Well, they can use the digital retail tool. Give us, you know, copy your trade title, give us your insurance paper, give us driver's license, give us any of the things we need, do a credit app online, do all that stuff. So when you finally get to the store, we can get you in and out in 20, 30 minutes. We're not looking at it. So, you know, anything where we interact with a customer, I'm trying to find out what are the tools that are available to let the customer interact with us in the way they choose, you know, because I think that's where the win is. If we can, the biggest thing that we can do for customers, save them time and make it very transparent rather than just transactional. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to find, is that products that work in that manner.
I think if you were to talk to 100 different people right now,
100
you
different
may get
answers,
100 different answers, and
but that's okay.
yeah, of course. I think from my experience in you know, from an advisor on the way up with, you know, internet taking, you know, us doing X time or whatever when that first came out or whatever. I think that we became dependent on seeing what everybody else is doing and then kind of following the lead. I think AI is changing it where you don't have to do that anymore. You basically are in control. You tell whatever this vendor partner is, this is what I'm looking to accomplish. Can you accomplish it with me? And when I need to pivot, can you pivot with me? I think when I was in the seat just a couple of months ago, that was one of the things that was most important to me was I wanted control. And I felt like it was the
Right.
first time in my career that I had it.
Yeah.
And I still say that going into clients now. If there's something that you need that I'm not giving you, you need to tell me, and I'm going to try and find a way to provide that. And if you have a vendor that says, no, I need 50 clients to ask for the same thing to make a change, or you know, whatever, other than let's try and work together to figure it out, then I think you got the wrong vendor, because these tools are completely manipulative. You can create it to do what you need it to do, and I think that's the way I look at it anyway.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, I'll keep my ear to the ground and work on some of those things. And, you know, I think it's just I guess I can go ask Chat GPT what all the dealers are using for AI tools and see what it tells me.
It has all the answers, so just go there.
I would say, Dwayne, if you have anything specific, obviously,
Well,
Dave and I and everybody have demoed a bunch of stuff, and I'm happy to provide you who I
yeah,
think
well,
is the player in the game. But it really depends on the friction point that you're trying to hit. And I would say one of the things that I did for myself was I was looking for something for either parts and service or a body shop or whatever, but I always wanted to understand what it would do for the entire store. So I wanted to look, is there a factor of it that is going to benefit the sales department, new, used, fixed? I mean, F&I, the accounting department, whatever it may be, these tools in a lot of ways can save more people time rather than, the silos that we've always had in place. So that's another thing that I always looked at.
that's an important thing to do. And Dave, Dave and I are connected. I don't know if you've ever met Todd Smith, Kyle, but Todd,
Supposed to
we're
have
connected
lunch with
with
them tomorrow.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Todd has started out as a dealer and then, ventured into that tech side and he's created Core AI, which we're using. And he was one of the founders of Active Engage. So, he's again a guy that sees a lot and can give you say, well, look at this, look at this, look at this, and then, make a decision based on that. So,
I mean, he's the data guy. If anybody asks me about data, he's the one I'm going after. So, I mean,
yep, yep.
his hat has traveled in a lot of different places. You can ask Foy. His hat goes to Disney and all different
Well,
places. Gets pictures of it.
one of the things that I'm working with Todd on is so one of the successful things that Cox did with vAuto is they put together small vAuto 20 groups where used car managers could meet virtually, and then once or twice a year they got together somewhere and became super users in vAuto. And so that's one of the other things I'm trying to work on with Todd because I think that's probably a great way to do it because now I connect with somebody who's using Core AI, our product, maybe even differently than we are to go, oh,
Yeah,
didn't think about that,
huge.
But it's a very powerful tool. So
The
all right.
collaboration is amazing because you can actually really, hey, did I not know that this thing did that? And now somebody else
Right.
found it, and now you're
Yep.
actually able to make it better. I love that.
Yep. All right. Well, I gotta hop to get ready for something else.
Thanks.
It's better. It's Dave. Dave, you look better in the dark than you during the day, though. So maybe you should go back to nighttime.
I'll turn some of these lights off.
Savage,
Yeah,
Dwayne.
yeah.
Always
Well,
good to see you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Make sure you have everything ready for our cell later, okay? The cell party
Yeah,
that
there
we're
you
gonna
go.
have. I like
Yeah. No problem.
it.
Got it.
See you, Dwayne.
I'll bring the soap. Bye.
Oh God.
I don't think Dwayne ever leaves a room without a comment like that.
I love it. I missed MK so much because we have such great conversations and we don't always agree, but at the end of it, we still love each other. And then I think that's the best part.
Oh, you know it.
We both
Not
keep
that I
coming back for
disagree.
more.
I just think we're solving like different problems, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a place for all of it. It's just we have you just have a different expertise area than we do.
It all works together though, right? When we combine
Oh,
our
yeah.
brains, everything gets stronger.
Definitely.
I believe that for sure.
There is a place for everybody. I miss having MK. Miss the Kyle. That's reverberating through your mic for some reason. I miss the person who pushes against voice AI as much as I do. I think it's amazing technology. I think it just became an overused solution to make the phone stop ringing in the dealership. That's all. I think everybody went make the phone stop ringing, and they magically made the phone stop ringing, but nobody asked what happened to it after that. So
yeah.
Well, that's the disconnect is there wasn't a process for, okay, what happens, right? Are you listening to the calls? Are you figuring out what went wrong? Are you calling the customer back that didn't like the engagement they had? Like those are all factors that an AI champion needs to have when they put it in play. It's not going to be able to just you're right. It just makes stuff disappear, but how much did you lose? And MK, I do want to say something to you that I use almost every day is that we only hold 29% of our customers. That retention number sticks in my head. You've ingrained it in my head. to gain more of our market share back, and it's been a push that I put in. So we're on that fight together, buddy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's gonna be like I hope not a career-long pursuit. I hope we can win it back. But definitely the next couple of years, that's how we're spending our time. Is like something's got to give. Even looking back at the 80s, I was reading, I think I told Dave this at NADA, but I was doing some research on like the history of fixed ops to see if there was ever a shift that changed the market. And even in the 80s, dealers were not the preferred service advisor or service provider for like the American public. It was full service gas stations.
Yeah.
We've never been the dominant player in our own space, despite having the greatest access to the cheapest parts and most skilled technicians and the data sources that give us the most know-how on how to reach our customers. The mind reels. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's
I
got
was I wasn't an advisor in the 80s. I became an advisor early in the 90s. I was a tech in the 80s, but we actively sent people away from the dealer to go get tires, for instance, somewhere else, because you could get them cheaper somewhere else. And if your tire failed, you had to warranty it through that Bridgestone store anyways. So why bother to come to us as the middleman? And so the dichotomy that was there for me when I was a tech, I would go from working at the dealership all day. I went to a Sears auto center and mounted and balanced tires for the next 4 hours after with all those dealership customers that they sent away. I went and took care of them at the Sears auto center, mounting and balancing tires. And I mean, that place, that it's closed now, but that place had probably easily 30 bays in it. It was a massive service center, and it was hopping. I worked there Monday through Friday from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. And that place was hopping all the way up till 10 p.m. So you're absolutely right. It's nothing magic. It's not because the independents are now making their shops look nice and all this other stuff. We've been losing customers for a long time.
yeah.
So yeah, time to get them back. All right. So if nobody's got anything else, we'll call this one a little bit early. But before we go, I got off track when we started. Thank you to all our sponsors: Automotive Warranty Network, Inc., Fixed Ops Marketing, IntelliCheck, SparkServe, I said it right, TechWall, Spiffy, and Parts Edge. Thank you all for bringing this to us every single week. And go spread the word about us being here on Thursdays, if you would. That would be terrific. And we'll try and get more people here. And everybody, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next week.